Coming up on this week's news, a series of toll increases looms across the East Coast as the start of April approaches. The feds relent but also issue a threat to New York on congestion pricing, and a new phase of pre-construction is ready to begin to replace the Key Bridge in Baltimore. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this week's update of all that's coming down the pike. As the start of April looms, so do a series of toll increases slated to impact drivers across the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast and into the Midwest. Travel across the Seaway International Bridge is going up, as we've told you, as the cost to traverse the crossing between New York and Ontario goes from $325 to $375 US and up to $525 Canadian. That's for a passenger vehicle. A typical hauler with 5 axles will pay $1775 US and $2475 Canadian. The toll rates have been announced for several weeks. A toll increase will impact drivers on the Blue Water Bridge between Ontario and Michigan, but only for those on the Canadian side of the bridge. A toll increase announced this month includes news that cash will no longer be accepted on the Canadian side of the Blue Water Bridge. Tolls are already cashless for drivers going from Michigan into Canada. Meanwhile, the Delaware River and Bay Authority is raising its cash toll rates and only cash toll rates for drivers using the Delaware Memorial Bridge. That is a key component of the I-95 corridor connecting Delaware and New Jersey. The cash toll rate on the DMB will be going up $1 to $6 per crossing, while Easy Pass rates will remain at $4.75. Officials say they're trying to encourage users to adopt the use of a toll transponder, which is how about 85% of drivers pay for the crossing as it is. A toll increase has not officially been announced, but they rarely are for Global Via's Pocahontas Parkway near Richmond, Virginia. We will bring that information to you as it becomes available. Global Via has raised rates on the 1st of April each year of the past few years. Congestion tolling will remain in place, at least for now, after the Trump administration pushed back its so-called deadline to end the program. That new deadline is now April 21st, which is 1 month later than the first deadline. You'll recall the administration unilaterally issued an order ending the congestion pricing scheme, although it had already been approved by the Federal Highway Administration under President Joe Biden. New York's Governor Kathy Hochul has vowed to fight to preserve congestion pricing. The new Transportation Secretary, Duffy, issued a reprieve 1 day before last week's March 21st deadline to end the program, but he also posted a notice on X that conveyed both a lie and a threat. He called the program illegal, even though it is not, and warned New York its continued defiance would not be taken lightly. New York is suing the Trump administration for its unilateral moves, which has put an injunction on any federal action until a judge rules on the administration's authority to eliminate the program on a presidential whim. The start of the second phase of pre-construction for a replacement of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge is expected to get underway within a matter of days. The first phase of pre-construction activity has come to an end with voluntary property inspections and environmental surveys around the bridge site itself. Property inspections were done to get a pre-construction status, as there is expected to be some vibration, up to about 500 feet, as pilings are driven for the new bridge. Earlier this month, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers formally issued its permitting decision to allow a rebuild of that bridge. That is a requirement for any structure over navigable waters in the U.S. The Maryland Transportation Authority, meanwhile, unveiled the new Key Bridge design, which will feature a new cable-stayed bridge that will greet ships entering Baltimore's harbor. While all dates are preliminary, officials are targeting opening the new Key Bridge replacement by October 2028. In case you missed it, overnight and weekend lane closures will continue to impact the I-78 toll bridge later this week and into the coming weekend. Construction to replace the concrete decking of the Easy Pass lanes began over the past weekend, bringing nighttime lane closures late last week and a full closure of all Easy Pass lanes during the Friday night to early Monday morning time frame. The Delaware River Joint Toll Bridge Commission has announced they expect a similar set of travel restrictions again this weekend from the 27th through March 31st, provided, of course, Mother Nature cooperates. Coming up next week, with the Trump administration's April 2nd tariff deadline approaching, how will international haulers be impacted by punitive tolls in border nations? Until then, drive safely and avoid distracted driving. I'm Danny Pryor reporting for Turnpikes.com, the Turnpike Authority.